on the screen on time. That our dear Mataji only does for all of us. So I request everyone to wish Her Grace Indulekha Mataji. I mean, without her, there would be so much less for our group. Nobody can replace her. She's doing wonderful services. Let us all wish her happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Hare Krishna to you.
Hare Krishna to you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, happy birthday.
Happy more birthday.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday,
Happy
Indulekha
Krishna
Mataji.
conscious birthday, Mataji.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Indulekha Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Please bless me, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvindak Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvindaksha Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Pranam.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Vinta Mataji, Hare Krishna, Aditi Mataji. Happy Ramanavami again. Keep on telling us yesterday again today also. Thank you very much. Thanks for Bhakti Sangha, which is a spiritual Sangha, not material Sangha. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, all glories to all Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Sugakar Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Sugakar Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Vinta Gandharika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radha, Pyari Mataji from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Radha Pyari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yeshumati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Anita Ramya from Sharjah.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. And to all the assembled devotees, this is Megha from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Megha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every single day. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Is my humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from the
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Aditi Devi Dasi in Canada.
Hare Krishna, Aditi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your sweet association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shyamagiri Devidasi, and thank you so much, Mataji, for wishing Indulekha Mataji, and thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Shyamagiri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for encouraging all of us and giving some services. Without Bhakti Sangha, we cannot do anything. Me and Indu Mataji, we don't have temples. We are only surviving
Without
with
both of
Sangha.
you, we cannot do anything, Mataji. Indulekha Mataji is like backbone of our Bhakti Sangha conference.
Yes, Mataji. She is really doing a lot for our group. Thank you to her, and thank you to you and Preeti Vilasni Mataji also. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika
Mataji. This is Kamadiki Dasi from Baltimore. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Komadiki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and blessing all of us.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji has joined.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
My Dandavat Pranam to you and to the all respected devotees. All goes to Srila Prabhupada, all goes to Guru and Gauranga. This is Pooja Arora from Haridwar.
Hare Krishna Puja Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Lord Rama. And we have seen from whole 1 week, we are seeing all Rama Katha. I especially like Haridas Varya Prabhuji's class. So I would say that today is on the cake, there is a cherry on top of it. It is decorated, right? The cream on the cake. So we are going to see that cream class today. And this is my personal realization for Prabhuji's Rama Katha classes. So today's topic is Rama Nama Sudharasa, the exiler of Rama's name. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your valuable time and association. Before I hand over the call, I request Aditi Mataji, please give brief introduction about Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Krishna, Haridas Varya Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Humble obeisances, Dandavat Pranam to you. I'm very fortunate to introduce Prabhuji today, and this is a brief introduction. His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhuji is the disciple of His Holiness Indra Yumna Swami Maharaj and an international speaker. He is associated with ISKCON for the last 24 years. He has a deep penchant in rendering lectures from the Vaishnavit Vedic text. He is a public speaker of various topics of Sanatan Dharma through the lens of the disciples' succession of Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. He has delivered his lectures in English, Hindi, Tamil, and Malayalam across Dubai, Australia, USA, and India. He speaks extensively on Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Valmiki Ramayana, and other Gaudiya literatures. He has a graduation degree in electronics and telecommunications and an MBA from Symbiosis. Over to you. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Over to you, Mataji.
Thank you, Aditi Mataji, for the brief introduction. Once again, I'm very happy to welcome you, Prabhuji. Please take over the call.
Thank you, Mataji. First and foremost, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you very much, Aditi Mataji, and also Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. At the outset, wish you a very happy birthday, Indulekha Mataji. And may your services grow within Bhakti Sangha Japa group, and we get all the blessings of the shlokas that you show before the screen for all the devotees. I would like to thank, before I start, Her Grace Shamagauri Mataji and Preeti Vilasini Mataji, who gave me this chance to speak about Lord Rama and his holy name. Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, I would like to beg to differ. I am not the cherry on the cake, because I am coming after Ram Navami, after all the devotees have spoken. So I am actually the plate on which the cake is kept. And now the cake has melted fully because of all the devotees. And I am trying to just serve it to everybody else, what they have said. So definitely the cherries were offered before, the cake has melted. Whatever is left, I'm just trying to dish it out to all others. With that, I would like to start today's class on Rama Nama Sudharasa, the elixir or the nectar called as Rama Nama. Before that, it is our kartavya, it is our duty to say our prayers to none other than our acharyas and ask the permission from Valmiki. Also ask the permissions from those acharyas from the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya who have also given us very wonderfully Ramayana and their commentaries. So we'll start with Mangalacharan. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sabhujatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Vishakhanutamsha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nadanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschate Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kujantam Rama Rameti Maduram Maduraksharam Aruhya Kavitam Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmiki Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shrunvan Rama Kadanadam Konayana Paramam Gatim Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapishamakshahantaram Vande Lanka Bhayagram Manojabam Marututulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimadam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayudamukyam Sri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami. A very wonderful welcome to all the devotees and Rama Bhaktas and Bhaktins to this August assembly. Today we are talking about Rama Nama Sudharasa. We are talking about the elixir called as the holy name of Lord Ramchandra. And it is befitting that we are talking about this topic today because yesterday was the birth, the appearance of our Ram Lalla, or our Lord, our beloved Lord Ramachandra. So before we start, we need to understand this festival. Ram Navami is one of the most auspicious festivals. And it is a giver of all auspiciousness. Why is it a giver of all auspiciousness? It gives us all auspiciousness because through Rama, we have got the blessings of Ramayana, his Rama Charita. So what we have received through our disciplic succession and also the disciplic succession of many sampradayas is the history or the entire katha of Lord Rama. And this is considered as Kalpa Vriksha. It can bestow all the wonderful hidden wishes that is there deep in the heart. It is like the wish-fulfilling tree. It is also called as the Mrita Sanjeevani. It can bring back to life people who are almost at the gallows of death. So today, we are going to speak about Ramayana. Through that, we are going to speak about the holy name of Ram, but through the eyes of a very special devotee. The devotee, generally when we speak about scriptural topics, many people say that these are folklores of the yore. That means these are stories of the past. What relevance does it have today? So Lord Ramchandra, even today, and Krishna and all the divine personalities, they have their modern day pastimes. 500 years ago, our beloved Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, and he showed that he is non-different from the Supreme Lord Krishna. In his Shadbhuj form, he also showed that he is none other than Lord Ramchandra. So in this way, if 500 years before, the Lord is still doing his pastimes, even today, he does his pastimes. So I'm going to speak today about a very special devotee who appeared around, say, 60, 70 years ago. He was a Sri Vaishnava saint. He appeared in a place called as Villur in southern part of India. And he was a very ardent devotee of the deity Lord Ramchandra, whose name was Vadavur Rama. This deity of Lord Ramchandra Vadavur is so sweet and so wonderful to look at that if anyone takes darshan of Vadavur Rama, it is said that he will never leave that place. He would be just looking at the lotus smile of Lord Ramchandra. The smile of Vadavur Rama was so wonderful that this devotee was entirely captivated and he used to stay in this place. However, at the age of around, say, 27 years old. This devotee, during the yesteryears, during around 1940s or 30s, if my research is correct, he came across a smallpox disease. And back in those times, when smallpox was discovered, there was no injection or vaccination which was available. And everybody were being devoured to death due to this smallpox. The smallpox vaccine was not invented back then. So this devotee, young devotee of 28, who was just married and he had his children, he also contracted smallpox, and the doctors were called. And when the doctors were called, they touched his pulse and they said that he just has 24 hours to live. And when they said that he has 24 hours to live, this devotee, called as Villur Nadadur Srinidhi Swami, that is his name, he immediately thought, I am just 28 years old. I have long services to do for Lord Ramchandra. But it is not my decision whether I have to live or not. If the Lord has called me, I have to go. But let this decision be with Lord Ramchandra. And he was in a lot of agony, pain, and he was told he will live only for 24 hours more. And at that time, he took his pen and paper and wrote 4 wonderful shlokas. And today, we are going to see those 4 wonderful shlokas, just 4 of them. But the beauty of those 4, you will see today through the poetic magnificence of this Villur Nadadur Swami, who was a Sri Vaishnava saint, and he is considered as one of the Sarvabhauma Kavi. He is known as one of the greatest poets. So we'll, through his particular vision, we will try to see these 4 shlokas. So I'm sharing in front of me the shlokas. I hope you can see them now. Let me know when you can see them.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see that.
Okay, very good. So the first is the Mangalacharana verse. Kavitajita kallolika kanyaka kanta vakshase karunadi gunadhyaya kamala nidhaye namaha. So the verse, first one says that Kavitajita kallolika kanyaka kanta vakshase. On the Vakshasthala, on the chest of the Lord, is residing a beautiful lotus-like Kanya, who is none other than Mother Lakshmi. And he is very dear to this Kavita or this poet. Why? Because not only her, the person who is holding her in the chest and herself, both are Karuna Adi Gunadhyaya. They are an ocean of mercy and compassion. Kamala Nidhaye Namaha. And they are lotus-like appearance, and they are the nidhis. They are the treasure chest of ocean of compassion. So with this, he starts his prayer. Everybody who is reading the screen, try to read these 4 shlokas. I'll tell you the benefit of these shlokas. The verse number 1 says, Rama Kaushikaman Vangapati Munervacha Vaditatakam Shatram Tasya Raksha Tena Katita Sushravatasta Kataha Gatvatom Itilam Vidhaya Drishadam Yoshinmanim Sanmunehe Bhangtva Durjati Chapam Aparamanim Sitabdi Dhanam Api. Please remember, this devotee was in tremendous pain, and he was told that only 24 hours he will live. So he started picking up his pen and started writing about that Vadavur Rama. The first verse, he thought that I won't have much time. So in 4 verses, let me complete the entire Ramayana. Of course, the Chatushloki Ramayana is famous, but this is written by the poet. And in the first verse, he is talking about the first letter, which is none other than Rama. So here he is saying Rama. Rama means one who is pleasurable to the mind. Ramate iti Ramaha. Why is he so pleasurable? Because he was so compassionate towards his devotees, especially the demigods who appeared before him and requested him, why don't you take birth in the Manushya Kula? And he became the son of Dasharatha. The great Vedanta Deshika, in his tongue twister called as Mahavira Gadyam, says, Divishadipati Rana Sakacharana Chatura Dasharata Charamarana Vimochana Koshala Sutakumara Bhava Kanchutikara Kara. He says, Divishadipati Rana Sakacharana Chatura Dasharata Charama Vimochana. Dasharata Charama Rana Vimochana. He says he became the son of Dasharatha. In fact, he chooses from Vaikunta that Dasharatha will be my father. So Rama came down, and the first name, the first letter he uses in this verse, the poet, he uses the verse as Rama because this is the most wonderful Sudharasa. This is the elixir. How it is the elixir? Because Lord Shiva says in the Sahasranama, what does he say? He says, Kenopayena laguna Vishnor nama sakasrakam patet panditer mukyam shrotum ichcham yaha Prabhu. He says that, and he says, Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. So he says that how the mention of Lord Ramchandra's name is 3 times is equivalent to 1,000 times of mentioning Vishnu's name. Now one might think, how is this possible? So Acharyas have explained through a mathematical system which they call as the Katapayadi system. Even in South India today, many Narayaniyam, Bhattadri and many others use these metrics. So if you see the screen, you can see the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 0. These are the values for the letters which are written below. So you will see that 1 is applicable to Kha. And this is how the numeric system follows. Kha, Kha, Gha, Gha, Dha, Cha, Cha, Ja, Ja, Nya. These are the letters which go in the horizontal way. But if you have to take the number 1, you have to read through in this way. These letters have the value Ka, Tha, Pa, and Ya. Ka, Ta, Pa, Ya, Di. So this is Ka, Tha, Pa, Ya. So this is the system which is called as the Katapayadi system. So based on this, they are trying to understand what Lord Shiva said. Sri Rama, Rama Rameti, Rame Rame Manorame, Sahasra Nama Tattulyam, Rama Nama Varaname. He said if one utters Lord Rama's name thrice, it is equivalent to 1,000. So my dear devotees, where do you see the letter Ra in Rama? What is the value of the number? Can anyone tell me, looking at the screen? Where do you see the word Ra of Rama? What is the
last
value?
line at the column 2. Second line.
Column
Column.
2. Absolutely
Column
right. So let's give the number 2 here. And the next word of Rama is Ma. Where do you see the number Ma?
3rd row, 5th column.
3rd row, 5th column. So this is the number Ma. Everybody understands Rama. Ra and Ma. So the Mool Vakya. So if you multiply, how much do you get? Sorry, my handwriting on the mouse is 10.
10.
And if you say this thrice, Rama, 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 how much do you get?
1,000. 30.
That is, yes. But if you say this 10 into 10 into 10, so 3, sorry, Mataji is correct. I should not write 3. I should write 10 into 10 into 10. So how much do you get? 1,000.
1,000.
Correct. So Sahasra Nama Tattulyam. So 1,000 names of Vishnu is there within these 3 times of repetition of Lord Ramchandra. So this is what the Katapayadi system says. So that is why our Kavi today, whom we have chosen, he has first chosen the word Rama. And he has chosen this word and he's saying that this is very elixir in nature. But what did he do? What did Rama do? Kaushika Van Gatapati Punervacha Vadi Tataka. Kaushika is none other than Vishwamitra. He went on the path of Vishwamitra. So he's quickly narrating Ramayana itself in the 4 verses. So he's saying that Rama was born and Lord Ramchandra's name was given by Vashishta. And then immediately little after, Kaushika, who is none other than Vishwamitra's path, he followed. And he followed Munervacha Vadi Tatakam. So he obeyed the words of Vishwamitra and he slayed the demoness called as Tataka. So now some devotees ask, is slaying a woman correct in Shastras? So Vishwamitra himself told to Ramchandra that Ramchandra, don't worry, I will give you evidence. Just like in the court, sometimes the judge, before giving the decision, he generally says, in the court of Allahabad, in High Court, so-and-so decision was taken. Keeping that as precedence, keeping that as the evidence, I am passing this judgment. So in this way, Vishwamitra also gave the evidence that there were 2 occasions where once the daughter of Virochan, who was known as Mantra, she is not this Mantra who comes in the Ramayana. There was daughter of Virochan named Mantra. Once she tried to eliminate earth. At that time, Indra had to kill her. Similarly, Bhrigu's wife Khyati once was very determined to kill Indra and Vishnu punished her. So these 2 precedences were given by Vishwamitra, and then he said, so your slaying of Tataka is correct because you as a king should be protecting the citizens and you should be the one who should be checking the adharma. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanartha. To establish dharma, so you should kill Tataka. So Ramchandra felt very shy when so many arguments were given by Vishwamitra. He said, I was told by my father, obey your preceptor, obey your guru. Whatever he says, do that. I should have not asked this question. Thank you for giving all the evidence. I will shoot the arrow now. Because he said, hey Munivar, please look at this woman. Does she look like a woman? She has got so many skull bones on her neck. Vishwamitra says, see carefully, Rama. Are those skull bones? Then he actually sees, and he sees that what she is wearing is a necklace of 1,000 elephants and their bones, which are tied together. One trunk of the elephant is tied to the tail of another elephant. And like that of 1,000 elephants, she has eaten and she is wearing it as a addiga. Addiga means a very tight necklace. It's not a loosely hanging necklace. It's a very tight. It's even tighter than the kantimala that we wear. So that is how she is performing, and blood is oozing from her mouth. So she is not an ordinary woman. She is a demoness. Slay her. So in this way, he Muner Vacha Vadita Tatakam. So he said, and he slayed none other than Tataka. Then what did he do? Shatram tasya raraksha tena katita. The second line says, Satram tasya raraksha tena katita sushravatashtak kataha. Satram tasya raraksha. Satram means the yajna or the chatram or the place of hermitage. So he protected tasya raraksha. He gave the protection to Vishwamitra's beautiful hermitage. And this is very notable. Here the poet uses the word ra-raksha. Raksha means protection. Ra-raksha means both the brothers stood there for 7 nights, 7 days, protecting the Yagyashala. Vishwamitra says, Subahu and Maricha, those who are related to these Tataka, they come only on the 7th day and they pour all this pus, urine, stool, etc. into the yajna and make it impure. So they'll come on the 7th day, you be watchful. But Rama and Lakshmana said, nevertheless, 6 days or 7 days, we don't care. 7 days, 7 nights, we will take care of the Yagyashala. So they never slept. They always were vigilant and they were taking care of it. And this is said as Raraksha. So Lord Ramchandra, protection, he gave protection to Vishwamitra's Yagyashala. And after the protection, after vanquishing Subahu and sending Maricha many miles away, flinging into the ocean, they proceeded ahead. When they proceeded ahead, at that time, what happened? Katita Sushrava Tasta Kata. So because the distance was long to Mithila, so they said, why don't you tell us some stories, O Vishwamitra? So Vishwamitra started telling stories. So this is mentioned in none other than Vedanta Deshika. He mentions in his Mahavira Gadya. So he says in a very beautiful way. And this Mahavira Gadya is really a tongue twister. Anybody who is having problems with the voice, anybody who is having problems with the tongue, anybody who is having problems with lisp, that means they cannot utter the words carefully, they should try to practice this mantra or this Gadya. This Gadya will ensure that all tongue twisters are put to fail. Pitter, patter, butter, all those tongue twisters which we have learned in the younger days are of no comparison to the tongue twister of what our Vedanta Deshika has given. So in that, I will just recite one part where he actually mentions how the shlokas or how the stories were mentioned. So it says, Pranata Jana Vimata Vimatana Durlalita Durlalita Tantura Vishika Vitadana Vigatita Vishararu Shararu Tataka Tatakeya. So here he mentions that Tataka has been killed. This is by Vedanta Deshika. Jatakirana Sakala Dhara Jatila Dhatar Patimukuta Tananatana Patu Vibhuda Sarita Bahula Madhugalana Lalita Pada Nalina Rija Upamridita Nida Brijina Jahada Palatanu Ruchira Paramuni Vara Vyutinuta Kushika Suta Katita Vidita Nava Vivida Kata. So this is where he mentions Kushika Suta Katita Vidita Nava Vivida Kata. So Kushika is none other than the father Gadi, or he is also known as Kushika. That's why Vishwamitra is known as Kaushika. So Kushika Suta is none other than Vishwamitra. Katita, he actually said. Vidita, various different. Nava Vivida Kata, he told about new stories to Lord Ramchandra. It is also saying Nava means 9. So he actually mentioned 9 different stories to none other than Lord Ramchandra. What are those stories? He mentioned about how Cupid was burnt by Lord Shiva's anger. He mentioned about Sarayu river's advent. He mentioned about Tataka. He mentioned about Vamana. He mentioned about Janaka's Dhanush, which he was going to see. He mentioned about Ganga's advent into Mother Earth. He told about his own story, which is Vishwamitra. He also mentioned about Sagar Manthan. And finally, he finished it with Ahalya's story. By the time they spoke about Ahalya, our poet, he is immediately mentioning that they reached Gautama's ashrama. Datva to mithilam vidhaya drishtam yoshanim manim sanmunehe. He says that as they were proceeding towards Mithila, vidhaya drishadham, Lord Ramchandra, his eyes paid a sight. That means he saw a stone. And as soon as he saw the stone and the dust from his lotus feet, from the padukas of Lord Ramchandra sprinkled on the stone, what happened was Yoshin Manim. The stone became a sapphire crystal, spotless sapphire. The beautiful narration here by the poet is that when the dust from the padukas of Lord Ramchandra and the glance, the compassionate glance of Lord Ramchandra fell on that stone, which was just a wayward stone. It was not even right in the path of where he was walking. It was just a stone which was on the side of the road. And when this dust was sprinkled on this stone, immediately that normal stone became a sapphire. In other words, all the sins were gone, all the dirt of Ahalya was gone, and she became spotless. And she became like an emerald. Sanmunehe. And when she became spotless and sinless, and she was bestowed with the mercy, Gautama arrived there and he accepted her again. So San Mune hai. The Muni is none other than Gautama. And they proceeded further. Bhangtva Durajati Chapamapa Ramanim Sita Bidhanamapi. Bhangtva, he broke the Durajati Chapamapa, the Shiva Dhanush. Bhangtva means broken. And our devotee poet here says, why he uses the word broken? He asks a question. And that question I posted here also. Why did Ramchandra break the Dhanush? Was it necessary to break the bow which was given to him? It is not necessary. He could have just strung the string on top and he could have, used the bow. But why did he break it? Any answers from the devotees here? Why would he break it?
Take the pride of Parashuram eventually to attract his attention.
To grab Parashuram's attention. Okay, that's a valid, but he can just twang the string and that would have reverberated across the universe and he could have got the attention. But still,
Hare
why
Krishna,
did he break
Prabhu?
it? Yes.
Is it because Sita Devi had kind of, during her childhood times, she had pushed the Dhanush just with using her left hand while playing games with her Sakhis. So it's like, if she's so powerful, she's so strong, the person who is going to wed Sita Devi has to be, definitely stronger, right? I mean, this is what I heard some time back from someone else. Please excuse me, my ignorance or something for saying this.
This is also right. Or none of the answers which are on the Rasik platform are wrong. So this is right. But our devotee poet here gives two reasons, very wonderful reasons. That's why he uses this Bhangtva. And he got these reasons. In fact, he wrote 3 types of Ramayana. This is the Chatushloki Ramayana. He wrote another Ramayana called as Manju Ramayana. And he wrote another Ramayana called as Mandasmita Ramayana. He will every day go to Vadavur Rama and he will look at his face and he will get a realization of a shloka. And when he recites that shloka, he will see that Vadavur Rama is actually smiling it a little bit more. So like that, he wrote Mandasmita Ramayana and Manju Ramayana. In those two, he gives the reason why he says broken. He says, Lord is thinking, now I have to break the vow of brahmacharya and enter into grihastha and let the whole world know, now I'm going to acquire the hands of Mother Sita. So to break the brahmacharya, he is announcing it in all 3 worlds that now I'm going to accept a wife and who is always waiting. This was one of the reasons he says in the Rasik way. And the second, he says, while he saw the bow, he immediately remembered Lord Shiva. And he remembered the story that was told to him just moments ago by Vishwamitra. We saw that Nava Vivida Katha. He's told 9 different stories. And out of that, the first story was of Manmata. That means the Cupid. And that Cupid was burnt by Lord Shiva. And it is generally said that the Cupid is also very, very close to Lord Vishnu because he throws those Cupid arrows. He uses those Cupid arrows to throw at Mother Lakshmi. So he considers him like a son. So when the Lord thought, oh, my son was burnt by Lord Shiva and this is his bow, for a moment he became angry and he said, let me break it so that my devotees are never perished. My devotees, even our other devotees cannot punish my devotees. So in this way, he said, let this bow be never used again. And in this way, he says, Bhangtva durajati chapa mama bapa ramanim sita bidhanamapi. In that way, he accepted and married Sita. So with very difficulty, now our devotee poet lifts the pen again because he is in agony. He is in so much agony of pain that he is trying to write again. And he is trying to tell the shlokas to the world of what his realizations are. So he moves to the second verse, and the second verse goes like this. Sitaya karalalena sakriti jitva munim bhargavam sakhetam tarasa pravishya jhanani mandayan madhyamam ashidhyo vipine chaturdasha samarakshan muninathan rakshasanga mathavadi agataya drajayam cha suryatmaje. So in this second shloka, he continues from Sita's marriage up to Sugriva's coronation as the king. And my dear devotees, please pay attention. This is one of the most wonderful verses. Sitaya Karalanena Sakriti. So he immediately held the hands of Mother Sita. Like we all have heard multiple times how Janak Maharaj said, Iyam Sita Mamasuta Sahadharmacharini Iva Paninam Grishno Panina. Please hold the hands of my daughter. And he held very happily, he held the hand of Mother Sita, and he was very, very happy. Jitva Muni Bhargavam. Immediately Parashurama arrived, and when Parashurama challenged him, he became victorious and he handed over the Vishnu Dhanush to none other than Lord Ramchandra. So the devotee here, poet is saying, the real reason why Lord Ramchandra got victory was because he held the hands of Mother Lakshmi. So when he held the hands of Mother Lakshmi, his hands became more powerful to gain victory over Parashuram. So this is a very wonderful ode or gratitude that he is showing to Mother Lakshmi. Saketam tarasa pravishya janani. So after winning over Parashuram, what did he do? Saketam. What is Saketa? Everybody might be knowing. Another name for?
Ayodhya.
Ayodhya. Immediately. Correct. Saketam tarasa pravishya. He entered Ayodhya quickly. Why? To give pleasure to Ayodhya Vasis. And they became very happy to see Mother Sita and Lord Ramchandra together. Janani mana anandayan madhyamam. And especially in this verse he says, the middle wife of Dasharatha, Madhyamam, Anandayan, Janani, the mother, who is the middle wife of Dasharatha. Who is the middle wife of Dasharatha? Who is also very happy to see this beautiful sight of Rama and Sita coming together in a palanquin after marriage.
Kaikeyi.
Absolutely right. Kaikeyi was supremely happy because Rama, she considered him as her own son. In fact, Ram used to give so much pleasure to Kaikeyi that she was always happy in his presence. So Anandhyan Madhyamam, why? This is what the Sudharasa, this is what Lord Rama's names and Lord Rama's presence gives. It's an elixir for people. But then immediately in the next verse, our poet says, Ashidhyo Vipine Chaturdasha. Then our Ramchandra and Mother Sita had to Ashidhyo, immediately go into Vipine, into the forest, Chaturdasha, for 14 years. Samarakshan Muni Nathan. So somebody asks why he has to go to the forest. And the answer is given that Pitru Vakya Paripalana, to protect the words of his father. But actually here our poet says, Samarakshan Muni Nathan. Isn't his Ramchandra's vow that he will protect the devotees? So the devotees and the sages in the forest, they are absolutely in trouble. And that is why he entered the forest. And when he entered the forest, what did he do? Raksha Sangha Mathat Vadi. That means he killed all the Raksha Sangha. In fact, Mother Sita was astonished by her husband's behavior of killing almost 14,000 Rakshasas at Janasthana and killing all those Rakshasas except one who was Akampana because he wore a sari and he escaped. Ramchandra said, I will not shoot an arrow on anybody who looks like a woman. Though he started his killing spree from a woman, but when he knew that it is a man in the disguise of a woman trying to escape, and he did not shoot the arrow. And such a brilliant battle it was that the entire Rakshasa Kula was almost getting annihilated at that Janasthana. It is a sight to read. And again, our Vedanta Deshika doesn't disappoint us. He mentions this beautiful action of how he killed the 14,000 Rakshasas. Kushikastuta Katita Vidita Nava Vivida Kata Maithila Nagara Sulochana Lochana Chakora Chandra Khanda Parashukho Danda Prakhanda Khandana Sounda Bhuja Danda Khanda Parashukho Danda Prakhanda Khandana Sudunda Tuja Danda. This is how the bows and the arrows came from the the arrows came from the bow of Lord Ramchandra. Khanda parashu ko dhanda, prakhanda khandana, prakhanda khandana sounda bhuja danda. You can just imagine, by just meditating on these 4-5 words itself, you can see the arms getting removed from the body, the heads are getting tossed, people, the river of blood is flowing. That is the magnificent Veeras that Lord Ramchandra is exhibiting. Chandakara kirana mandala bhotita pundarika vana ruchi lunta kalochana. So in this way, Lord Ramchandra performed this magnificent pastime of killing all the Rakshasa. Agathaya drajyam cha surya atmaje. And he says, after that, immediately the Sugriva's kingdom was given back. Now, my dear devotees, you will be like, what happened to the other part of Ramayana? What happened to Jatayu Moksha? What happened to Sita's kidnapping? What happened to the Kabanda's killing? What happened of Kabanda mentioning? What about Hanuman's Milan? None of that is being written by this poet. But he will tell the reason why he didn't write all of this very soon after his 4th verse. So in this, we see a very beautiful activity. Anybody who chants this verse will get always victory. In the first line, he says, Lord Ramchandra gained victory because he got Mother Sita and gained victory through Bhargava. And hence they were bestowed with happiness. Second line, he says, Ayodhya Vasis got happiness. And also Kaikeyi got happiness. And in fact, in the third line, he says the sages got happiness. And in the fourth line, he says Sugriva got his kingdom back. So these 4 verses, he says that anybody who gets whatever they have lost, they will get it back. But these 3 words, Janani, Mandayan, Madhyamam, is so wonderful that there is a very deep realization situated there. When Rama married Mother Sita, she was very happy. She was very happy that they are married. So that is why she was happy. But then later, she was very happy that he went to the forest. So see how the happiness has changed. First, she was happy that he was married to Mother Sita. Then she was happy that he went to the forest and now the kingdom is for Bharat. But then later, when he started protecting the sages, she repented on her mistake. And hence, she was happy that all the Rakshasas are killed. So this is the transformation of a sin to a sinless devotee. This is being mentioned here very beautifully. How Kaikeyi's transformation happened is mentioned in this in the 2nd verse. And our devotee poet again lifts the pen with deep difficulty and he writes the 3rd and the 4th verse, which we'll see very quickly. Vayor atma bhuva tato hanumata patho diparasthitham pranebhyo api ghari yasim priyatamam vignaya raksho khritam setum vari nidhau vidaya vividhan ghatavi vidhvamsanam lankayam vilulava ravana shiro vrindhani vande yatam. So Vayor atma bhuva tato hanumata, Vayu putra, and he starts with Sundarakand, that how Hanuman, he flew over the ocean. Pathodi parasthitham. And he also used the beautiful holy name of Lord Ramchandra. It is mentioned in the Kamban Ramayana that when Hanuman was traveling, first he met Mainak, the Parvat, and it was trying to stop him and tell him to take rest. He did not. Then he met the Nagasurasa. Then he met Simhika and he devoured all of them, punished all of them. And then he thought, what am I doing? I am actually executing my service and I am finding a lot of obstacles in my path. This is because I am not chanting Lord Ram's name. It is said, Kamban says in Sundarakanda that after that, Hanuman, after Simhika, he got vexed with these obstacles and he said, Ram, Ram, Ram. And hence his rest of the journey did not have any obstacles. And he crossed over the entire ocean as if he is crossing over the calf's hoofprint of little water which is there in the calf's hoofprint. So Vayor atma bhuva tato hanumata patho dibhya rakshitam. And what did he do? Pranebhyo api ghari yasim. He gave the message of Lord Ramchandra. He went to the Shimshupa tree and he was sitting there and he was waiting for the opportunity when Mother Sita could be told that I have come here to give you the message of Lord Ramchandra. And he was thinking, if I speak in Sanskrit, because Ravana is a Sanskrit Pandita, he's a Vyakarana Pandita as well, and he's a Pandita. So she might think that I am Ravana. So it is said in Valmiki, he says that Hanuman spoke in Madhura Vakya. So Madhura Vakya is actually Tamil. So he spoke in Sri Lanka, he spoke in Tamil. And Vaidehi, who is from generally Nepal and other places, she understood the Tamil. How is it possible? Because they both stayed in Agastya's ashram. And Agastya is generally considered in the Vindhyachal mountains, and he also speaks Tamil. So generally, she picked up the language there. And when she heard Hanuman speak in Tamil in a very beautiful way, and he told about Lord Rama's charita, Lord Rama's name, it was like an ambrosial nectar to the ears. Prane bhyo api ghari asim. Prane bhyo, as if Sudharasa. It is the elixir, the nectar that she was waiting to hear. And Vignaya Raksho Hritam. And he came back and gave this message to Lord Ramchandra, who was also in a very, his heart was in a tumultuous condition. He did not know what has happened to Mother Sita, whether she crossed over safely, whether she reached the other place, whether she was eaten alive by Ravana, whether she fell into the ocean. What have the Rakshasis done to her? He did not know anything. At that time, Vignaya, Kanden Sita, I saw Mother Sita saying like that. Hanuman reached that place, and Raksho Hritam, he actually gave solace to Lord Ramchandra. And Ramchandra said, now I cannot wait for even 1 second. Let us start building the Setu. Setum vari nidhau vidhaya vividhan ananta ghavi dhvamshanam. So one devotee asked, why it is so necessary to build a Setu? Why is it necessary to build a big bridge? And here our devotee poet Villur says that Setum vari nidhau vidhaya. Just by looking at Ram Setu, what happens? Vari nidhau, the qualities of Lord Ramchandra is resplendent in that Ram Setu. And vidhaya vividha, various, multitudinous, multifarious kind of sins, ananta, vidhvamsanam, all the sins get immediately destroyed. Lankayam vilulava ravana shiro vrindani vandeyatam. Like that, he proceeded towards Lanka. Vilulava, pierced with his sharp ram bands, the Ravana Shiro Vrindani, the 10 heads of Ravana were given the particular embellishments of Rama's arrow on his head, on his forehead, and he killed Ravana. What a wonderful way. In the 3rd verse, he starts with Sundarakand and ends the Yuddhakand. And he says, Ravana hence fell down dead. So in this, he finishes the 3rd and he finally goes to the 4th verse. Aruhyata vibhishanena shubhagam bhaktya samaveditam manyam pushpakamanjasa nijapuri magatya mittarevitta anandaya vashishta kashyapa mukhai pattabhishakto vibhu tasmin jagrati janaki priyatatmane ka nama bhiti mama. So he says Aruhyata. Immediately he climbed on what? He asked Vibhishana, I don't have time to spare. Don't think that I have coronated you already in Ram Setu. You're already the king. Vibhishana said, please come here, stay in my city. He said, no, it is my vow to my father. I will never enter the city in 14 years. Forget about all this. One boy is waiting there. My beloved Bharata is waiting there. Can you do me can you help me in some way? So Vibhishana Shubhagam Bhaktya Samaveditam. He went to his palace and got the Pushpak Viman and he gave it in a very devotional way. Bhaktya Samavedita. In fact, in Valmiki Ramayana also, Vibhishana says, I give it to you. Maybe this Pushpak Viman was here only for this purpose. And now you asked it. And the Vanara says, I would also like to come. The Vanaris say, please give a pit stop in Kishkinda. We will also like to come. So the Vanaras come in, the Devas come in, the Asuras come in, and the Rakshasas come in. They all come inside and they are traveling. Manyam Pushpaka Manjasa. And he is going towards where? Nijapuri, in his own abode, which is Ayodhya. Magatya Mitta Irvita. He meets Bharata and he embraces him. And when this embrace happens, everybody is doing the celebrations. Anandaya, Vashishta, Kashyapa, Mukhai, Pattabhishakto Vibhu. In the assembly of Vashishta, Kashyapa, and Kabali, and many other sages, the beautiful coronation of Rama happens at that time, Vibhu. So he has finished the entire Ramayana. We have just heard the entire Ramayana in 3 verses, and the last line is still pending. He says, Tasmin Jagrati Janaka Priyatmane Ka Nama Bhitir Mama. So in his pain, he writes the last line, when such names of Lord Ramchandra, which I have spoken in the entire Ramayana, Tasmin Jagrati, Tasmin, his names, when they are protecting me, who is none other than the most beloved of Janaki, Ka Nama Bhitir Mama. How can I be fearful of my life's existence? It is in his heart. It is his will that if he wants to protect me, let him protect me. Mare Krishna rakhe khai, rakhe Krishna mare khai. So in this way, he puts his supplication, he puts his submission, his application to Lord Ramchandra. Tasmin Jagrati Janaki Priyatatmane Ka Nama Bhitir Mama. And in this way, he was in too much pain and his eyes closed. And the next day, the doctors came and checked his pulse, and they found that he was completely all right. This is a true story. This is not Haridas Varyadas making it up. This is a true story. And he was completely all right. And he said, this is a medical miracle. And this did not happen many years ago. This happened just 40, 50 years ago. And this devotee poet, he wrote, and they asked him this question. Tell me, we have only one doubt. Only one doubt we have. In the second verse, you wrote that Sugriva got his kingdom back immediately after Janasthana. You didn't write about Janaki getting kidnapped. You didn't write about Jatayu's death. You didn't write about the meeting of Hanuman and Lord Ramchandra. Why is it so? Why did you actually do that? In fact, the devotee said, while I was in tremendous pain, I was going to write all these verses, but I thought that my life will not exist. And if my life does not exist, that means my kavya will stop here. My poem will stop here. And when my poem stops here, that means Lord Rama and Sita, they are both on different sides of the country and they are not together. So how can I leave my body when my poem says that they both are separated? So this is the reason why I didn't write. And then he says, if I had to write that, already my heart was in pain. And if I wrote that particular line, my heart will be more in pain and I would have lost my life then and there. So I wanted to ensure that the Divya Dampati, the beautiful couple, are there together and they are living together. That is the reason why I did not write that this whole charita of she getting kidnapped. Devotees were spellbound by this narration, and he taught this particular shlokas to his grandchildren. He taught to everybody who visited his hermitage, and he wrote a very beautiful falastuti. He said, Dhanushkara Chatushloki Dhanushpurva Kavirita Mari Katar Chittanam Mari Timirit Taram Dishet. So he said, Dhanushkara Chatushloki, the one who reads about this Chatushloki or the one who listens to this Chatushloki of the person who is holding the Dhanush, who is wielding the bow, Dhanushkara Chatushloki, Dhanushpura Kavirita, and he was staying near Vadavur, where Lord Ramchandra was holding the Dhanush. So that place was called as Villivur. So his name was known as Villivur. So he's saying that poet who resides in the city where Lord Rama is holding the bow, anybody who recites or hears this particular Chatushloki, Marika Tara Chittanam, any intention or desire which is there in their heart will get fulfilled. This he wrote later. When he found that many years afterwards, he found everybody who is reciting this shloka, all their desires were getting fulfilled. And then he said, actually, when he was sick, he wrote the last two words, Mari Timira Taram Dishet. Anybody who recites this shloka will be never affected by Mari, means an enemy which is hidden or concealed. Timirataram, that means a virus which is there in the body. So anybody who has cancer, corona, anybody who has smallpox, such viruses will never affect such a person if somebody just recites this elixir of names. Hence it is called as Sudharasa. Hence it is called as the nectar. Hence it is called as the Mrita Sanjeevani. So anybody who is under the gallows of death will be given this beautiful medicine of Lord Rama's name. And this is evident in the Vali's pastime. When Vali was shot with the arrow, the only thing he could read was the inscriptions on the arrow known as Rama. The pada, that means the word Rama. And Kamban writes very beautifully, when Rama was read on the arrow, he saw the pada, the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra just walking from the bushes. And he conversed with the Lord and he attained Paramapada. So with the Rama pada, he saw the pada of Lord Ramchandra and attained Paramapada. That means he attained the Supreme Lord. So this is what the elixir of Ramanam actually gives us. And this is what we should be yearning for. This is what Prabhupada has given us. The holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And this is what we should be yearning always to read and to immerse ourselves in Ramayana. Ramayan's every word is a nectar. Even devotees, their new literatures, their realizations are nectar. And this is why the Saint Tyagaraja, who I will finish with his couple of lines which he wrote with full realization. If you see the picture behind, he is actually singing about Lord Ramchandra and they are giving him darshan right at his house. And hence he says, Banturiti kolu viya vaya Rama, Banturiti kolu viya vaya Rama. He says, oh Rama, I want to become your bodyguard. Give me the service of your bodyguard. Rama says, why? I am having a bow. He says, no, I want to become your bodyguard. What is that you're going to do? Rama asks. And he says, Tunta vinta vani modalaina. I would like to strike and blow to pieces the 6 enemies, which is lust, arrogance, greed, anger, all the 6 vices. I would like to blow and strike. But Rama says, you don't have any weapon. He says, please give me weapon. Romancha mane ghana kanchukamo. Give me the devotion of shield, which is the shield. I will wear the armor of devotion. And on that, I will wear Rama Bhaktadune Mudra Billavu. I will wear the badge that I am Rama's devotee. So I will wear the shield of devotion. I will hold the badge that I am Rama's devotee. And in my hand will be a beautiful sword, which is called as Rama Nama, which is the holy name of Rama. Rama Nama Mane Vara Khadgamivi. Raju Nillaya Tyaga Rajunike. He says, Tyagaraja, let this resplendent armor be around me, and let this sword of Lord Rama's name be in my hands. Let the badge be of Rama's devotee. In this way, I will always protect you, Rama, who is protecting all the devotees. Such moods are developed when the holy names are fully tasted and fully accepted. Hence, Rama Nama is a Sudharasa. It is a elixir. It's an unbroken flow of nectar. Just like honey, if you just pour it, it will never break. So Rama Nama Sudharasa is an unbroken flow of nectar, which one should dive deep in the Ramayana shlokas, and they should try to relish. So without further ado, I think the time is up, and I hope I could do some justice to the beautiful pastimes and the beautiful 4 shlokas. I would like to just finish. It is generally said that you should not finish the verses halfway. So I will just recite the last line of Vedanta Deshika and bring this lecture to a close. Khanda parashukho danda prakhanda khandana sounda bhuja danda chandakara kirana mandala bodhita pundarika vanaruchi luntika lochana mochita janaka hridaya sankatanka parihrita nikhila narapati vrajana janaka duhita kuchata viharana samuchita karatala shatakoti shataguna katina parashudharad munivara kharadka bhurvana matma nija dhanurkashana prakashita paramesthya Katuhari Shikari Kantuka Vrihtinmuka Jagada Runtuda Jita Hari Danti Danta Dantura Dasha Vadana Damana Kushala Dasha Puja Mukha Nrupati Lukhala Rudidara Jara Bhara Bharita Rutuhara Tataka Tarpita Pitrika Bhrigupati Sugati Vihati Karanata Paridishu Parigha. Thank you very much, my dear devotees. This is Vedanta Deshika's beautiful narration of Mahavira Gadya. It is not a poem, it is a Gadya. So thank you for this opportunity to glorify Lord Ramchandra. Yadastras kalitam kinchit vidhvam sat purayam tatat yadastat saushtubam kinchit tadgurur eva menami. So if there are any mistakes, there will be many mistakes in pronunciations in telling the lectures. It will be a gross injustice if I do not show the photo of the devotee who actually rendered this beautiful poem. So I would like to just showcase the photo of the devotee who actually did write these 4 poems. He is known as Villur, it is a place. He is known as Ashukavi, Srinidhi, Sarvabhauma, Nadadur Srinidhi Swami. So he is a very Sri Vaishnava saint. My humble pranams to him, and his beautiful narration of this Chatushloki. Of course, in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, we are bestowed with Srimad Bhagavatam, but sometimes we have to delve deep into other Sampradayas just to pick up some drops of nectar, which so many devotees have given. Thank you very much once again. If there were any mistakes, you are all Vidwams, please complete and correct these mistakes. If there were something which was nice, even one word, one syllable, all the glories go to my Gurujanas, my devotees who are my Margdarshaks, who are the torch bearers, and nothing belongs to me. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Ramayan ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for such a beautiful class. We have many raised hands. I request Shamgori Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhupada. Thank you so much for coming on the call and giving your valuable time and association, even though it's like, very odd time for you. So thank you about that, and very, very beautiful class, Prabhuji. And all these verses are very new for me because I am from, north side, so South Indian. Thank you so much for taking those verses, and thank you for explaining the 1000, how the Rama's name, 1000 Vishnu's name. It's never thought about that, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, and very, very nice narration, Prabhuji. And you explain how the Lord's name is like Amrita Sanjeevani. They save the devotee, and it's always saves all his devotees. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, thank you, Mataji, for your kind words. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Sukaka Krishna Prabhu, please go ahead with your question.
Haridas, Varya Prabhu, as usual, you gave us the elixir today. You gave us the tonic. Prabhuji, it was fantastic. Actually, I'm a Carnatic singer. This song, can I sing for 1 minute? Bantu Riti Kolu Viya Vaya Rama Bantu Riti Kolu Viya Vaya Bantu Riti Kolu Viya Vaya Rama Tultavil Bodhalina Mata Ramabhadranaina Romanchamane Manaka Gaviti ರಾಮಭದ್ರಮನೆ ಭಕ್ತವಿಲ್ಲವು ರಾಮನಾಮ ಮನೆ ವರಗಡ್ಗ వీధి రాజుల్లు నైన త్యాగరాజను బంటు రీతి కోలు వియ వయ్య రామ రామ Sorry, my throat was not.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very nice. So we have a good singer here. I'm sorry to croak like a toad before you. Thank you so much.
No. Actually, I just learned not showing off. Just what to do.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for adding that touch.
Because elixir, I wanted to give some. Thank you, Vinita.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very beautiful singing. Jyoti Mataji, please go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have not heard the lecture, but my question is, I couldn't understand what happened to the life of Shatrughan and the life of Bharat when they met Ramji and then they came back to Ayodhya. So how they practiced their devotion, because they were devotees, right? Because of that devotion only they were able to survive in that crisis. But I have never heard about them. So if you could please highlight some of these teachings from their life, or what we can learn from their devotion.
So two things: that after they took the Padukas from Lord Ramchandra, they returned and to Ayodhya. And in fact, Bharata was engaged 24/7 in worshipping the Padukas, staying in a small hut, wearing the same kind of bark clothing, and waiting for Lord Ramchandra to come back after 14 years. And he said that I will jump myself into the pyre if Ramchandra does not arrive at the moment that he has mentioned. Shatrughna, as always, was helping none other than Bharata. And so what he did was he always continued to assist Bharata in that service. And when Ramchandra came back, they all were together in the Pattabhishek, that is the coronation of Lord Ramchandra. And they were given individual provinces under the Ram Rajya to take care. So this is what is mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. And Rama's bhakti was very wonderfully shown by Bharata. And Bhagavad Bhakti, that means devotees, Kainkarya, or the way devotees are to be served, was shown by Shatrughna. So these are the two things, Mataji.
Prabhuji, but when they returned, there were a lot of chaos, and they have to face the criticism, right? Yes. So how they tolerated for such a long period of time, because 14 years they are supposed to stay in one place, and they have to serve unconditionally and stay unaffected. So what they practiced actually to stay unaffected in that situation of crisis?
Devotion is what they practiced. In fact, they always worshipped the paraphernalia of the Lord, which was none other than the Padukas. So this was the lesson that Bharata was teaching us. Bharaha iti Bharataha. That means he was carrying on top of his head the wrong accusations of his own father, Kaushalya, Guha, Lakshmana, everybody, that he was the cause for the Vanvas. And he said, yes, I am the cause. Because if I was not born, this day would have not come. So this was being showcased by Bharat, that there could be 100 mistakes which we could blame others. As simple as, if we think about ourselves, once one devotee told me, when we were walking in Chaurasi Kos, Braj Kos, one devotee was walking without slippers, and he stepped on a thorn. And then he was in a lot of pain, and some other devotees came and removed the thorn. So His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj asked him, what happened? Why are you limping? So he said, the thorn pricked me. And then Maharaj immediately said, see the ahankar. He will never say that he stepped on the thorn. He will always say that the thorn was the reason it pricked me, as if it is a living entity and it is coming to prick us. The mistake is ours. But we always, even in our words, we say, the thorn actually pricked me. We don't say that I stepped on the thorn. So Bharata was not like this. He said that the mistake is due to me. Yes, you are all correct. Because if I was not born, Rama would have not gone to forest. So in this way, he is an emblem of devotees who showcase that how we should keep arrogance and ahankar outside while serving Lord Ramchandra. And even if we are falsely accused, we should continue devotional service. And Shatrughna is an emblem of how to render service to Bharata, to devotees. So this is what we learn, Mataji. The chaos is not being spoken much in Valmiki Ramayana. Hope that answers. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna and with pranam to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
the
you,
session.
Prabhuji. Prithvilasni Mataji, please go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming up with these 4 verses from this very beautifully composed poetry. Thank you for bringing him to light. First time I'm hearing about him, and I was able to relish whatever he had composed, and especially the mood that he didn't want Sita and Ram to be separated. I just thought of sharing a similar situation when my spiritual master, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, was giving a lecture on Mother Sita once. He was going on with the narration, and at one point he stopped and he said he didn't want to talk about Sita being abandoned because it was her birthday. So a similar mood, which was I'm just saying it in plain words, but he was far more sensitive.
Yes.
It's so nice to relish the mood of these wonderful devotees. But I did have a question, if it's okay.
Sure, Mataji.
Okay. So when you were reading Raghuvira Gadyam, you said Khanda Parasha Kodanda Prakanda Kandana Shonda Bujadanda, but isn't that in Balakanda? How did it apply to him being in the Aranya fighting with the demons?
Yes. So this whole thing is to show that this is how his prowess is. But this is definitely, Vedanta Deshika is not saying that this is how he killed the 14,000, but he's like how you showcase in a directorial venture, how the hero prepares and how he finally does the battle. So you're right, Mataji. This is Balakanda. So this is talking about his glories of what all he possesses. And of course, in the next Gadya, he speaks about how he immediately brought the destruction on the masses. But he has already given the precursor that how his Bhujanga was, how his Kodanda was, and how he actually wields those weapons that he has got. So this is what I wanted to say, that with the prowess of that, he actually wins over in the Aranyakanda.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It was very, very beautiful. And also, could you please share the poetry?
Yeah, sure, Mataji. I'll share it on the group.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks for coming. Thank
you. Hare Krishna.
And Lalpangi Mataji also had a comment about the class, which maybe Vinita Mataji can do.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the kind words. Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada.
Pooja Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
प्रभुजी मैं आपसे हिंदी में प्रश्न कर सकती हूँ प्रभुजी?
Yeah, okay. I can translate that in English. पूछिए.
प्रभुजी मैं यह जानना चाहती हूँ कि यदि किसी कुछ प्रैक्टिकल रीजन की वजह से यदि हम सभी नियमों का पालन ना कर पाए, मतलब ज्यादातर कोशिश करें कि कर पाए, परंतु चैंटिंग पे बहुत अच्छे से कंसंट्रेट करते हुए यदि हम आगे बढ़ते हैं तो क्या कुछ होप है? I mean, प्रसाद हर समय व्यवस्था ना हो पाए, चाहे ये लगा लीजिए कि एक डिवोटी फैमिली नहीं है, कुछ और प्रैक्टिकल रीजंस हैं, तो सिर्फ चैंटिंग क्योंकि अपने हाथ में है, तो वो हम अगर बहुत ही डेडिकेशन से करने की कोशिश करते हैं.
Okay, so Mataji's question is that if other situations are not very favorable and if we have only chanting in our hands, is it enough? Will that solve a lot of issues? जी माताजी, बिल्कुल ये उस प्रकार है जिस प्रकार आप गंगा स्नान करने से पहले आपको दूसरा स्नान लेने की जरूरत नहीं है। जो व्यक्ति गंगा स्नान करने जाता है वही स्नान काफी है, वो आत्मा को परिशुद्ध कर देता है। उसी प्रकार जब हम when we actually take the bath in Ganges, it cleanses our soul. It cleanses all the dirts, all the sins. So Naam alone will give us all the benefits, but we should have the intent. हमारे में intention भी होना चाहिए that we want to go closer to the Lord. And when we chant, like how Valmiki chanted, his family was taken care. Ratnakar's family was taken care. When Mrigari, he chanted, the dabba was coming regularly from Krishna. So Krishna will take care. So we should chant very devotionally. And I'll tell you a small personal incident which happened with me yesterday. Yesterday was Ram Navami celebrations here in Dubai. And there was a new devotee and he was asking, why should I become a devotee? And I said that it is very relishable when you see that Krishna will reciprocate. So at that time, he asked a question. So that means if I'm hungry, will I get a plate of prasad? He did not finish his statement. The pujari took the arati garland or the abhishek garland of kishmish and those raisins and threw into the crowd, and it fell onto his feet. I said, before you thought of prasad, prasad is here. This is what happens when there is faith with the Lord. This is what happens when there is absolute faith in the Lord. And more than that miracle, the greatest pleasure is in the heart. Krishna, you were listening? Krishna, you were listening to this conversation? I'm just trying to tell you, you were listening? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, not for shaking his faith, for restoring and putting more faith. तो प्रसाद क्या माता जी, पूरा दुनिया हमारे कदमों में होगा, पर द फैक्ट इज हमें जप अच्छी तरह से करना चाहिए। जपमाला में जप अच्छी तरह से करना चाहिए। आप प्रार्थना कीजिए, होगा, बिल्कुल होगा। और भक्तों का भी संग लीजिए, तो भक्तों के संग से आपका प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगा।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, यहाँ पर मैं एक चीज ऐड करना चाहती हूँ प्रभु जी। मेरे को पहले ना हमेशा एक तरह इन्फ्योरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स रहता था कि मैं जब तो कर रही हूँ, और जब भी कहीं कम अच्छे से कर पाती थी, करती थी मैनुअली, मतलब कोई रस नहीं आता था उसमें कि करना है तो करना इस तरीके से। लेकिन प्रभु जी, जब से मैंने भक्ति संघ का जो ग्रुप ज्वाइन किया है, तब से मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि ये मेरी फैमिली है, ये मेरी एक्चुअल फैमिली है।
बिल्कुल, वेरी नाइस। तो फैमिली के साथ जुड़े रहिए, अच्छी तरह जुड़े रहेंगे तो फैमिली और रस देंगे। तो थैंक यू वेरी मच पूजा माता जी फॉर योर रियलाइजेशन।
प्रभु जी और श्यामा गौरी माता जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जिन्होंने मुझे ऐड किया। और मैं तो शायद इस ग्रुप में रहने लायक नहीं हूँ, लेकिन
कोई नहीं माता जी, आप रहिए। ओके, हरे कृष्णा।
धन्यवाद। हरे कृष्ण।
धन्यवाद। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। यस, करपगवल्ली माता जी।
Dandatnam Prabhuji. Prabhuji, now one question, one the thing. This Vadavur you told no that that is very nice. I want to just visit that. Where is the place Vadavur?
Vadavur is in the Vadavur village is near Nagapattinam in Tamil Nadu.
Oh, Nagapattinam, Vadavur.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Dandatnam.
Thank
you. Yeah. Again, Sukaka Krishna Prabhu, you have one more question? Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, sorry for adding so many things. Yeah. You were telling about this one devotee got the prasadam. Actually, Prabhupada's sannyas guru, he had left Gaudiya Math and he came out because they were all fighting after his Guru Maharaj left the body, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And there was somebody going to come and have prasadam. He didn't have anything. So he said, I will just chant. 5 hours he chanted from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And 6 o'clock, his servant is telling, you have not done anything. What will you do? opened the door, a crow was brought, one big bag and full of gold. He said, if Krishna wants, so the gold, he sold something, brought the prasadam and that balance he kept it. So Prabhupada just told that Krishna can give anything, but you should have full faith. So he just standed 5 hours and money came. Sorry, I wanted to share. Sorry, I didn't want, I wanted to yeah.
No problem. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is there any more questions? Okay, if there are no more questions, once again, thank you so much, Prabhu, for such an amazing class. As Lalitangi Mataji said, that crumbs on the cake, on the cake plate taste the best, although at the last. Thank you so much, Lalitangi Mataji, for saying it so sweetly. Thank you, Prabhuji, once again for such a beautiful class. I would like to offer my obeisances to you and all the Vaishnavas on the call. Vancha kalpataru Namo Namah. Vaishnav ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grace Haridas Varya Prabhuji ki jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Jai Ho.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.